So a very special welcome to you and thank you for viewing our first episode in our podcast called the GuruPad Podcast. And also I'd like to introduce my eldest daughter Jyoti, and she will be co-hosting this podcast with me. So the podcast will have a very simple format. In this format, we will have two parts, one as the story, of course, and then we'll have a little discussion based on the story that was done. And one of the things I must mention, what inspired me to do this series, is that the power of stories and how it could be used for the individual, as well as interactions with others, as well as learning about the world. So I feel that the stories, they have been a very influential part of my life. I remember in primary school, in the standard one, and that age, in the night they tell you to go to sleep, but you're hiding under the sheets with a torchlight and you're reading the storybooks, then the Enid Blytons and so on. And then even later on when you started to read more, when holidays used to come, July, August, you're looking to see what books you would read, and every holiday you're looking forward to finishing this book or that book. And it just went on, and later on I was able to learn from my guru many stories. So I felt that every part of my life, these stories, has always been there, and also they made it better. It was very enjoyable, and also it taught me so many things. So I wanted to share all these things I have learned with you in with respect to stories. So the first story which we are doing today, I put a banner up here. So, some of the stories I had to put names, but later on we might do some polls and so on. So you might tell me what you think about the name, and you could also suggest names too. So this one I call the wealthy merchant and the king of thieves. So a merchant is like a businessman. Nowadays, what we call a businessman, somebody who in retail and so on. So a long time ago, and this was a lot of stories always start with once upon a time, long time ago. And this was before the time there were cell phones, like all these devices you're using to listen to me, as well as all these modern transportation devices too, like the vehicles, trains and all those airplanes and so on. So it was a different time. And in this more primitive time, there lived a very conscientious businessman or merchant. And this man, he had firm faith in his ancestors and their beliefs and his religion and God. So he lived a good life. And more importantly, I think what is more important in living a good life, having the belief and faith and so on in your religion, but also he was hardworking and he was honest. And because of this, he was respected where he lived by everyone. And not only in that town, that area where he lived, but in all the neighboring towns as well. People, by this man, how he used to treat his customers, how he used to speak to people and things, he was very well liked in the community and the surrounding communities. And not only that, he was very lucky. He had an ideal family. His wife was a good mother, and he had two children, two boys. And the children were very good children. They were obedient, very important. I always remember this. Always listen to your parents and speak nicely too. These boys obedient boys used to speak nicely to their parents and each other. And used to wake up early and help as well. And of course, go to school regularly, meaning always present, and also on time. So they were very good. And in this way, the time used to go along. But as in the nature of everything, nothing remains the same. And I feel somehow in everyone's life, like God has put somebody there to test you. There's always have somebody who might annoy you or something. Or there's always have some person maybe you don't like so much. And I think it's be there for a reason, because if everything good and so on, we mightn't improve ourselves. So in that area, as fate would have it, there also lived an expert thief. The man was considered so good, he was considered the king of thieves in that area. Some people say he could have stolen the shadow from you and you wouldn't know. Your own shadow, the man could have steal. So this man had a different type of reputation. But what was the relationship between the two? What happened is this thief, in everything that he did, he never was successful in stealing from this rich merchant or this wealthy merchant. He had tried a few times, but he wasn't caught, but he wasn't able to be successful or steal anything from him. So it bothered him a lot too. You know, when you get marks and you pass, you remember them. If you get in 90s and so on. And also when you fail a subject, it's bother you too, you know. So he set about, although not the best thing, but he made it his life's mission that he will steal from this man one day. He made it that something like, you know, the bucket list kind of thing. So as luck would have it, this thief found out, you know, through his sources and so on, that this businessman, this wealthy merchant, was looking to hire somebody. He was going on a long journey. It would take about, I think, almost 3-4 days. So he needed somebody to accompany him. So this thief, you know, he used his means and whatever he had at his disposal, and he got himself hired as the companion to go with this wealthy merchant. So he said, aha, this is the opportunity now. This time, on this journey when we go, I will steal from this man and I will have everything that I wanted to do, I will accomplish now because I've done it all. This is the last thing remaining for me to do. So time came and they set off on the journey. The wealthy merchant had his goal with him, he knew. And the king of thieves as his companion, both of them set off walking on the journey to the destination. So how they used to do, they used to walk whole day, you know, taking rest accordingly and so on, hydrating and things. And when the evening would come, they would make a little camp and they would spend the night. And of course, when in the morning, you know, you have the morning things to do, clean your teeth and wash your face and bathe and so on. So they have all those things they would do. So when the morning came now, they would take turns. Well, the wealthy merchant, since he was like the boss, he would go, you know, somewhere private, away from the campsite, and he would do those things, and the thief would be there. But that was the entire plan of the thief. What he wanted is when this merchant leaves, he will search all his baggage and so on to find where the gold was hidden. So first day when the wealthy merchant went to do those things, he started to search and looking everywhere. He didn't find us yet, but then he heard the noise that the merchant was coming back. So quickly he made sure everything was as it is and he pretended like he was lying down and so on. And when the man came, he didn't find any gold, but he went and he did his things and he said, well, okay, tomorrow. And well, of course, they journeyed again. Night came, they set up the camp. And same thing again, the wealthy merchant, he went off. And the thief, he looked at, searched and everywhere, checking to see if his man dig a hole and hide it, this, all kind of thing. And again, the time ran out and the merchant was coming back and he didn't find it. And this continued until they reached the last day now. And they were reaching the destination and the thief, he couldn't find the gold. So he gave up now because he knew it was the last day. No more night to spend and they were reached. So he confessed to the man. He told him who he was, and he had really come to steal from him, and he just wanted to know because it was burning him now. It was kind of, you know, it really was on his mind. Where was this gold? Because he knew the man had gold, but where did he have it? And then the wealthy merchant, he said, I knew you were a thief, and I'll tell you what I did because now we have reached here. What I used to do, I used to wake up early while you were still sleeping. And I used to hide my gold in your bag. And you used to look everywhere, but you never looked in your own bag because you didn't know the gold was in your bag. So that is where I hid this gold in your own bag. So you used to be looking everywhere, and that is why you never found it. So this is one of the stories. And of course, now I'll let my daughter, Jyoti Maharaj Sharma, she will say a few words and then I will close off. So over to you, Jyoti.
Namaste, Sitaram. Um, it's a very nice story. I think it's very concise and it goes straight to the point. Um, there are many different things that speak to me. The first is that um, you have these two characters. One is the merchant, the other one is the king of thieves. One makes an honest living, and in so doing, is rewarded by being wealthy, getting a lot of money and all of that. But not only that, he also has um, a good family and a good life in general. And then you have the second character, who is the king of thieves, and his whole life is about deceit and trying to steal from others and always being unsatisfied with what he has. And I think that these two aspects, these two characters represent two aspects that exist within us as well. We have the good side and we also have a bad side too. And in this story, as the story develops, you see that the King of Thieves is unsatisfied. He wants to steal from everyone. He can't steal from just one person. So he makes that his life's goal to try and get it, to try to get that gold from him. And by being deceitful and and it's also based on envy, and I feel like that's something that we also need to think about with our own selves. It's easy to look at other people and think that, wow, they have their life together, everything looks so good, I wish I was them, I wish I had their life, blah blah blah. But in reality, sometimes you need to look at your own self and be thankful for what you do have. And that essentially is the moral of the story, in a sense, where he tries to get this gold that he desires so much from the merchant. And the merchant is putting that gold that he wants so badly in the thief's luggage himself. But he wouldn't look at what he has, he only looks at what the other person has. So, yeah, that is the main point of the story. I think that's what I got from it. And it's something that we should definitely think about and apply to our own selves.
Wow, thank you very much, Jyoti. Very good words. Before I close off, I just a few people. So I see Neil Ratram, so Sitaram to Neil, and thanks for tuning in. And we have Caleb here. I know he's very technologically inclined, so nice that you're joining in, Caleb. And well, Lena said H, so H to Lila. I guess I short for hello. And we'll include more interactive aspects. Oh, and Carol is here too. So, Jai Sitaram, Carol. Happy to know you all listening. So, we include more interactive aspects in the podcast. We have access to some things like taking little polls, getting your opinions on things, as well as more comments and so on. So, in closing, I think that was very, very well discussed by Jyoti. Oh, and well, Kendall is here too. Very good, Kendall. Happy that you're here. And oh, let me see what Lena is saying. Oh, she was saying Sitaram too. Okay, Lena, great to have you. Um, one of the main things from this is that you all, every one of us, you are very important. God created everything in this world. All the wonders of the world, the beauty, so many things, and God created you. So you are important. And sometimes we forget about that and we go looking for other things and think that they are so important and we run after those things and we forget what how blessed we are and what we have. And not only that, all of us we have our history, right? The narrative of this world sometimes it leads us a little astray from the real history. And we want to look at the stories that also deal with that history, hopefully, later on in the series. as well as your culture is so rich in so many things, as well as your dharma, your religion. So all these things we want to look at. Oh, and Pradeep, happy to see you join. Okay. And I know many others are not showing all the comments. I see Maria. Right, I did that. So happy that all of you have joined. I know many people contacted me and they said that they will watch the recording. So I think we have come to the end and it was really enjoyable. And thank you all for tuning in and listening. And we'll continue next week, Thursday, same time at 7 p.m. Okay, Jai Sitaram. And I'll end the broadcast now. Okay, and Nathan, Dean, now happy that you got to type something, Nathan, and happy that you are here with us. Okay, Jai Sitaram, so I'll see you all next week, Thursday at 7. Bye.